Hey there, welcome to Friday Facebook Live, which is usually at noon, but moved to 2 today because I had to volunteer at my son's school. And I know I said I had to, and why I said that is because it is one of my goals, my values, is to be involved in my children's lives as much as I possibly can. And this is my son's last year in elementary school. My babies are going to be both in middle school next year, so I'm getting as much in as I possibly can. So I'm so glad that you have chosen to join me today, or maybe you're watching this later. My Facebook Lives usually cover a topic that I've either shared with my readers over email or in a blog post on the childproofparenting.com website. Today, though, I wanted to answer some questions. Sometimes I answer reader questions as well. And I got a few questions about who I am. And I've also got a few questions about what childproof parenting is. So I wanted to share a little bit with you because some of the other feedback I've received is people just don't know me intimately. They know what I do and how I support them and the type of information I share, but they don't know about me. So I thought I'd just share a little bit about myself and what childproof parenting means and what it is, and make sure I answer any questions you have. So really quickly, as I just shared with you, I have 2 kids. I have a daughter and a son, 13 and 11. I'm married to a wonderful man, and we've just, as you may have noticed in a previous Facebook Live, we added a little puppy to our family in the last few weeks. So that's my family. I live in Seattle, Washington. I'm originally from California. And on the professional side, I am a licensed therapist, but I practice as a parent and family coach. So I have a private practice. You're here in my office today where I meet with clients. And I also am in the classroom with families as a parent educator. I speak at a lot of schools with organizations. And I have courses that I teach live and courses that I teach online. So I am really passionate about, first of all, raising healthy, happy kids. And that was really why I got into family coaching and really family therapy initially, because I wanted kids to feel confident, kids to feel loved, kids to feel connected and respected by their parents. And I spent my first, I would say 9 years of my profession only working with kids. And I loved it. It was so fantastic. And then I had kids. So I was off for a little bit because I moved 2 weeks after I gave birth to my first child. So a little bit of transition there. And started teaching classes here in Seattle. I'm also a Gottman educator. I don't know if you're familiar with Dr. John Gottman. He's a world famous researcher on couple relationships and emotion coaching with kids. So I've been teaching his classes, maybe 10 years now, and I'm also a positive discipline facilitator in addition to being a licensed therapist. So I have a very eclectic background, and my work now is primarily showing up for you. 99% of my time is spent with parents, and even in my private practice, parents say, well, should we bring our kid? You want to come to our house and see what's going on? And no, I don't. I pretty much know what's going on, and I obviously get a lot of information from parents before I work with them. But what is going on, the tone that's being set, the challenges that are happening at home are usually because the way we are communicating with kids. So I work with parents so they can feel more confident and effective and have tools and strategies to work with their child. So that's a little bit about me. I also wanted to answer questions about what the heck childproof parenting means and where the heck it came from. So I co-created a program probably about 8 or 9 years ago with a woman named Robin Dowdy. And we created this program specifically for moms of toddlers and preschoolers. And it was a mom program. It's called Mommy Matters. It still exists. I teach it live locally. But the feedback was that dads want this information and working moms want this information, because a lot of our courses were run during the day, which didn't make it accessible. So we then transitioned and added to our schedule an expanded course for both moms and dads, so everybody can show up. And we've had nannies and grandparents and everybody show up for our courses, but we wanted to make sure it was accessible to everybody. And many people in our courses said, God, I wish I could share this information with my sister in Ohio. And that's when we wrote the book, The Childproof Parent. So we have kind of a coffee table book, and it's not a regular parenting book. It's not a 300-page book that's going to sit on your nightstand and you're feeling guilty because you haven't read it. It's probably about 30, 40 pages, has kind of juicy information and some reflective questions. And it's always really great as just reminders. When things are getting tough, my gosh, what do I do, what I say? And we keep it really, really simple. So the program is very simple. It's either a 6 or 8 week program, but that simplicity also transferred over to the book that we co-wrote together. Childproof parenting is a different type of class than you're probably used to. Our focus is not just kids and making kids listen and be cooperative and be respectful. It's about you. It's about you as the parent, because you are an important part of this equation. You are the most important influence in your child's life. So this course begins by looking at you first. And most people are like, okay, let's get through this. Let's get to the discipline. I want to fix this stuff going on at home. But if we don't do this work up front, you're not going to be as successful with the discipline. So we spend time talking about healthy priorities and how you're taking care of yourself and what you're doing daily just for you, because you get to have your needs met as well. And it sounds really challenging because kids keep you really busy, but you're not going to be the best parent possible or the best partner possible or the best employee if you are not cared for. So we spend a whole week on that. And we work really hard to make some of these self-care things a habit. We also talk about your relationships. And I draw a lot from Dr. Gottman's work on couple relationships here, and thinking about how do we get our needs met, and how do we work with our partner to get our needs met, and how do we reciprocate. So we talk a lot about transition to parenthood, how that changes relationships. And I'm pulling from his information, which is based on heterosexual couple relationships, but this information applies to all relationships, whether it's you and your nanny, you and your partner, you and your best friend, whoever you're co-parenting with, this information completely applies. But the research was done on heterosexual couples. I know he's doing more research now to broaden that, but totally focused on your relationships and making sure you are connected. You can't do this alone. Nobody can do this alone effectively and get through it sanely without having connection. So we talk a lot about connections. We talk a lot about what is normal. What should your kid be doing? And a lot of times people think, wow, I'm probably the only one. My kid's the craziest. My kid's the worst. Is he supposed to be doing this? What's wrong? And what you'll learn is developmentally, your kid's doing all the right things. All the right things that may be challenging you and driving you crazy, but it's exactly what they should be doing. And I think having that understanding first about what's underneath that behavior, developmentally why they're doing these things, is going to help you be more thoughtful and intentional about how you respond. So we kind of get through this first half, which is really about you, and that sets the foundation for the work that we're going to do on discipline. So this is very unique because most parenting programs are about parenting and discipline. And I would say this course is equally about you. And then we get really into the nitty gritty. We spend 3 weeks on discipline, and we cover Things like getting really clear, more consistent, setting rules, ways to get kids to be more cooperative, feel more cooperative, listen. So we do a lot in building the relationship, but also creating the dynamic that you want with your child, fostering those attributes that you want your child to have, whether it's empathy or being thoughtful or being patient, being resilient. All of those things is a big piece of this process. And the last week of this discipline series is about emotion coaching. And emotion coaching is, I kind of view as two things. So number one, I see it as a parenting tool. And actually I met Dr. Kottman once and I talked to him about it, and I don't think from his perspective he saw it as a parenting tool, but I really see it as a parenting tool. Emotion coaching can also be referred to as a parenting style. So Dr. Gottman has 4 parenting styles, and one of them is the emotion coaching parenting style. But we also talk about an emotion coaching framework, the 5 steps of emotion coaching, and how we use those 5 steps of emotion coaching. We walk through each of those steps, what it sounds like. So throughout this process, I give you all of the language to use. You don't have to get creative. Obviously, it's going to sound different for you and your family and with your child, and even with 2 different children, it's going to sound really different. So my job is really giving you a buffet of ideas and strategies and tools so you can pick and choose what works for you, what aligns with your values, and what's most effective in working with your unique child. So childproof parenting is about taking care of you. You can be part of this process in raising children, and you're key, because if you are not taken care of, you're not going to be the best parent possible. You're not going to be the parent that you really want to be for your child. You're not going to enjoy this process. This is supposed to be fun and enjoyable. It's not like, God, I got to get through this 18 years and finally have my freedom back. This is about embracing every day, every moment with our kids and finding the love and the connection that we wanted when we decided to have these kiddos. So childproof parenting is about making sure you're taken care of, that you have the tools to manage anything, that you're confident that you can handle anything that your child brings you. And so we talk broadly about tools and strategies, and I give you lots of language, and I give you lots of cheat sheets, but I do all of this within the framework of creating a relationship, because this is really about relationships and how we develop those relationships with our children based on mutual trust and respect, because a lot of old school parenting is kind of a fear-based parenting, very authoritarian. So, and many of us, I was raised in that type of household. I did not appreciate it. It's probably a lot of the reason why I've chosen this profession. I feel so passionately about it. I had 2 very loving parents, and they were doing the best that they could, probably just like yours, but did a lot of things that weren't so effective or didn't feel so great. I got soap in the mouth. I got spanked. I was told things like kids are to be seen and not heard, right? Not feeling valued. So I think the pendulum is swinging, and you probably see it swing really far where, parents are like, oh, we're best friends and we do everything together. And that's a little bit on the other end of the extreme and not healthy as well. So we're kind of, how do we find that middle ground? How do we create the relationship we want? How can we be the leader in our home? And how can we use discipline being both kind and firm, which comes a lot from positive discipline. So I integrate a lot of positive discipline. I integrate some love and logic. I use Dan Siegel's work, all the latest research, and I'm constantly changing things. So childproof parenting is constantly changing, and more now than ever, I am making sure that I'm spreading this message as far and wide as I can, getting parents the tools and strategies they need beyond the Puget Sound. And that's why I've chosen to spend a lot of energy and spend a lot of time putting this course online so you have access to it, so I can connect with you. So part of this course is live. The course online, the Childproof Parenting course online, is all videos that are available to you that you can watch at any time, that is available to you for a lifetime. But when you purchase it and when I open up the doors, there's a live component. The first 6 weeks, we are together. You have classmates. We have a private community. We have live video calls. I am here to make sure that you are getting everything you need. And I know there's tons of amazing parenting programs out there. I am not Laura Markham. I am not Amy McCready. They have like these huge courses, but they're not involved. They're not as connected to their students as I feel I am. I know they have a lot of recorded webinars with great information, but I am showing up live for you. And that is why I was very resistant to putting this course online, because I feel like our connection is really important. I want to be able to answer all of your questions. I want to make sure you connect with other students. I was really fearful that I lose this human component. So I'm doing everything possible to make sure that you develop friendships with other people in the course and you feel connected to me as well, and you feel like I'm available to you. So that's a little bit about what childproof parenting is. I've had lots of people ask me, like, what does that mean? What is the course? How is it different? It was listed as one of the top 10 online parenting courses on Parent Mat magazine. So if you're wondering, like, oh, is this, just a tiny little course? No, it is full and robust and juicy. There's lots of great information. You get lots of personalized care throughout the live piece of the course. And so I just wanted to answer some of your questions about what it is, why I'm doing this. And I'm doing this not just because, I trained in this and this is my profession, but I'm doing this also because I'm a parent and I get it. And I'm just like you. I struggle with all the same challenges that you struggle with. I had a daughter who still has very strong emotions, who still tantrums at 13. 3 and 13 look very much alike. And so, I've gone through the same things. I'm still going through all the same things. I'm still working on being the best parent possible. I have people all the time saying, well, your kids must be perfect, or it must be really easy. And it's not. It's no different for me than it is all of you. I had somebody today say, oh yeah, well, that's probably because, you're the expert. You do this, you talk about this all the time. Like, it's easy for you. And it's not. It's work. This takes work. Kids don't come with a manual, right? So we've got to invest in our parenting. We weren't born with these tools. Some of us more naturally than others, but that is not the case for most of us. So, sorry, the lights kind of popped off. I want to make sure you can see me. I'm not in the dark. So anyways, I wanted to make sure I explained, and if I'm missing anything, if I'm not answering the questions you've had about the course or what it includes or what childproof parenting means, please let me know. I have lots of information on the childproofparenting.com website. And I want to let you know, because you've stuck around here, that I am going to be opening it up again very soon in the next 2 weeks. So if you're interested, stick around, because I am going to have some special offers for those of you that have signed up as VIPs and those of you I've worked with before. So just be aware that you're going to get some more information, but only if you want it. If you don't want information, no problem. You can let me know over email or over text, whatever it is that you use to communicate. But I wanted to let you know that it is opening up. This course is specifically for parents of younger children, and it's called Toddlers and Preschoolers, but there's parents of much older children as well. So I just include in this particular course a bit on child development and the importance of play and some of that stuff, which is, unique to this because it's a younger age set. I also have a course for parents of school-age kids, and I did launch that, but I had to put that one on hold for a little while. So I apologize to those of you that wanted to take that course. I promise it's coming back. And if you are interested in the school-age course, let me know, please. I want to make sure that I'm meeting your needs. I just want you to know that even if you are registered for the course of younger children, you would still get all of the same tools and strategies. These courses are almost identical. So you wouldn't be missing out in any way, shape, or form. You just have students in the class that may have kids that are younger. So I have lots of students. I've had students with a 2-year-old, but also has a 20-year-old, or has a 3-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 17-year-old. So, it doesn't matter what age and stage. I just like to create a space where everybody's kind of in that same stage of parenting and they're dealing with some of the same things. So that's why I've kind of labeled these for the younger set and the older set. So be on the lookout for that. I also wanted to share with you one more secret, and I ran a boot camp a few weeks ago, and thank you so much. I had like 300 people join us for the back to school boot camp, and we had lots of people investing and making changes. It was really exciting to see the way people were just making small changes to what they're doing and the wonderful outcomes and changes that they were seeing in their children and their interactions with their children. So that was exciting. And here's the secret part. The secret is I'm going to launch one more. It's not a back to school. It's just going to be a parenting boot camp. And I'm running it privately for somebody else, but I want to make sure you who are my reader or my follower has access to it as well, because I know not everybody was able to show up in the last boot camp because of timing, or I know those of you in the United States, kids went back to school and it is crazy town in this first month of September. So if you feel like you missed out, please let me know. I will try to get you information to sign up for that boot camp. Once again, I'm running it for somebody else, but I want you to feel included and I want you to get the support and the information just as well. So please let me know if you're interested. I'll make sure I get that link to you so you can register as well. Okay, so I will be back next week and we are going to cover another topic. This last week we talked a lot about our kids failing and making mistakes, and I know some of you were very uncomfortable with that and some of you really embraced it and loved it. It was eye-opening for you. So feel free to check back on the blog. It's still up there. I listed out some of the benefits of allowing your child to fail, allowing your child to make mistakes, which is really hard to do sometimes. Zipping your lip when you see your child gonna totally mess up, but there's so much value in it. I'm not gonna go into that again. Really passionate about that. So I've listed out some of the benefits to allowing them to fail, and how it's really what our kids need to do. So anyways, if you want to check it out, go on over to the blog. I'm going to be back next week with another topic, and if I get prompted by one of your questions, I may change it. So please keep sending in your questions, and I will either answer it over Facebook Live or I will write a blog post that is related to your concern or your challenge. Okay, I am signing off again. This is Melissa Benaroya with Childproof Parenting, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I will see you next Friday. Bye.